So it ends Brighton 3, Spurs 2. What went wrong? We'll stay tuned to the end to get my thoughts on what an awful result in the end for Spurs. But if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It's free to do so and it helps the channel grow. Do get involved in the comments below with your thoughts throughout today's video because I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Wow, what went wrong? Really good in that first half, and then that second half, which is virtually embarrassing. It's as simple as that. And the element of it, I think Ange got his substitutions wrong today. He had an opportunity when Brighton got that first goal back to make it 2-1, an opportunity when Brighton got the equaliser to 2-2 to make changes, but he didn't, and I think we suffered the consequences, the full consequences for that. But he made changes when we were 3-2 down, eventually 75th, 80th minute, making it hard for us to get back into the game. Bringing on a defensive midfielder for an attacker is something that could and should be done when Brighton get their first goal, as I said, or if Brighton get that equaliser, to stabilise that midfield, to add stability, to regain control of that midfield. But this is a strange substitution after. But I don't want to focus solely on Ange because I think he's got questions to answer. Let's be very clear, but so do the players. They have to take responsibility. Key word there for this loss. They're the players on the pitch at the end of the day. And that's what happens today's defeat, when you don't take your chances and when you don't kill the game, and also when you don't mark opposition players in the box. If you leave them unmarked, they're going to score. But that is more an Ange tactical thing, but not taking your chances purely on the players. Johnson, Werner, whoever it may be that get the chances that were all good today, we just didn't take them. But first half really good. Johnson 6 and 6, focused on positives. He's absolutely on fire. Maddison, nice goal, really poor from the keeper. But I'd like to know what both managers said at half time. I think did Ange say anything at all? I don't know. Perhaps they will let lasagna and pies for half time and on the beers, on Sunday night. I don't know. But for Brighton and Fabio Hurstler, very good, but the Spurs not good. 1 step forward and 2 steps back, if you ask me. Not the way to end an international break. The last few games have been very good, but they don't feel as good when you lose a game like this. And it's okay, you lose to Brighton, it's frustrating. We could win this game, we shouldn't lose this game, you do, but it's the fact, 1, you're 2-0 up, and 2, the players lack the backbone to get back in the game, lack the courage and still the backbone to get back in the game, to kind of buck your ideas up and go, look, we're in a difficult situation. Brighton started the half well, we haven't. How can we get back into this game? How can we salvage a point? That's what Manchester United done in the week. It's a bad result against Porto, but it could have been a lot worse. We don't have that mentality of a top team that when we get in that situation where a team comes back against us, or we have a strange situation that isn't good for us, we don't know how to get back into it or how to resolve that problem. That creates the whole thing again about Ange, plan B and recycles. But this is not the way we wanted to go into the international break at all. It's our lowest points tally since one day Ramos. That's nearly 16 years ago. It hasn't been a good start to the season. It looked like we turned a corner recently, and there's bumps in the road. You lose games, but I don't think it's acceptable in this manner. I think this is a bad defeat, and I don't think there's any excuse for it. And I think we did bottle it. I think it's as simple as that. You have to be honest. Players need to take responsibility. Ange needs to take responsibility. You mustn't overreact. We mustn't, question the manager's future. But we have every right to question the manager's in-game management. We have every right to question the players' capability and their mindset to go in behind, but again, not their future at the club. So there's definitely ways of doing it. Werner, I thought, looked better today and got an assist. Some people will criticise him, but I don't think was the problem today. But congratulations to Brighton and Fabian Hurstler. I think they done well. But the fans were dead in the first half. We had that game 2-0 total control, but we didn't take our chances. That's a frustrating thing. But when you don't, you've got how to cope with it defensively. We knew coming into this game, everyone who's a Spurs fan, even if you don't follow it very closely, knows that their best player is Mitoma. So why do we, out of any Brighton player, we gave them all a lot of space. Let's be very clear here. We gave them far too much space, but the player we give the most space is their best player, Mitoma. That, for me, problem. And Doggy, I thought, was poor. Romero, I don't know what's got into him the start of the season he's had. I'd like to defend him, and I have done so far, but if you look back at it, he's at least at fault for 4, 5, if not more, maybe 6, 7 goals so far this season. Just ball watching, ultimately, and it is just really poor. Really poor, and that passing was poor in the second half. The front three were invisible. That midfield, yes, lost control, but why make the changes when you go 3-2 down? You could see when even, okay, you don't react to Brighton get the goal back. It's 2-2. As a manager, I'd be you'd be frustrated you'd done nothing before then. But why wait to 3-2? We conceded 3 goals in 20 minutes, and then there was still no reaction. Okay, worst comes to worst, the ball hits the back of the net. We go 3-2 behind. Those changes should happen then, not like we saw 5, 10, 15 minutes after. So the lack of emotion and the lack of just anything from Ange on the touchline, and a lack of dignity, backbone, and self-awareness from the players on the pitch. So I think I can make my thoughts pretty clear on today's defeat, but I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Overall, the last few games has been better, but this defeat was not expected and not acceptable in this manner. But as I say, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It's free to do so and it helps the channel and the podcast grow. Tune in tomorrow, talking to podcast of the weekly show. Tomorrow, Monday, that is 7:45 PM live. I'm joined by 4 special Spurs guests as we dissect that what now is horrible result. At half time, you would have thought, clear win, comfortable. Fans not in it. Spurs allow the fans to get back into it, and we drop all 3 points. Worst comes to worst, you take a point away from that game, but you got to start turning. Yeah, you've got to start changing that. You just can't. You can't do that as a big team. You can't pretend you want to be inside the top 4. Close the gap to City, Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. In particular, City and Arsenal. If you do that, you just can't. Smash the like button, turn the notifications bell on for England, Premier League and Tottenham content. But for now, massive come on you Spurs. International break, then West Ham, we go again. I'm dreading it already.